Okay, so once you have your drawing done on a piece of paper that's maybe not to scale, but it's just kind of single lines, and you know your dimensions and what you want to do, and you know how much wood that you're going to need for the project, you can come over and get another piece of 11 by 17 inch graph paper. It's 1/8 inch graph paper so that you're able to put side 1 and side 2 side by side when you're drawing it. It allows you not to make any mistakes, so you can see that all your rows and columns are at the same spot. So do it on one sheet of paper with side 1 and side 2. They also have the 3 bars along the bottom, which are going to be glued to a base on side 1 and side 2. So that's why you want to do it all on one sheet of paper, so it's all there. The next step, once you've drawn it on here, and I would draw it on and shade your lines so you know exactly which row, which column you're going to glue the balsa on, is that it will fit right on the right row or column because it's 1/8 inch and this balsa is 1/8 inch. So what you want to start with first when you start to glue this on is you want to start with your vertical pieces all the way from the top to the bottom so that you can have the entire vertical piece and everything else is going to fit in between. So I've glued this on, but I'm not going to glue it on so that the glue is all the way from top to bottom because I don't want to glue this balsa right to the paper to make it too hard to get off. So all you do is you put about 4 dots of glue on the paper and then stick your balsa right on top, and it takes about 5-10 minutes for it to dry. But once it's dry, then you don't have to worry about it sliding and moving on you, and you can get tighter fits of the balsa in between. So once I have my vertical pieces on, like you can see I have over here, all I'm going to do is I'm going to come and take a piece of balsa and I just slide it right in there, so it's going to be a nice tight fit. And I should take a pencil to mark it, or you can try it with one of these little knives, but you want to mark it so that it's exactly maybe even a hair bit wider than what you need, so it makes a nice tight fit. And then you can come over and cut it, or we have a timber cutter that you can cut, or there's another option. Some people like these little handheld ones, but you just got to make sure that the blade, or it's cleaned out where the blade wants to go, so it makes a nice cut with your balsa. So dry fit it first, see if it's going to work, because if it's too short, you don't want it, but you want to do it so it makes a nice tight fit and goes right in between, just like that, because that's your joint. If it's a bit of a gap, the only thing that's going to hold it is the glue, and that's not going to be strong enough. So you're going to want to take a piece of balsa then and your glue, and all you want to do is put just a little dab on each end, and it's the joint that's going to keep it together, the wood contact against the wood contact, and you just slide it right in there so it's nice and tight. You can see here sometimes it's helpful to use some tape if the balsa starts to roll or warp a little bit, just to keep the joints tight until the glue dries. But once it's tight, you can just peel that right off and you'll have a nice tight joint. So the order of operations is simply to do your vertical pieces, then do your horizontal pieces, and then worry about your angles and then all the little else pieces going in between. So if I'm going to try to do my angles now in between, what I would need to do is to take a longer piece of balsa, but I can cut it simply at a 45-degree angle. Since this is 4 inches by 4 inches, this is a 45-degree angle, and you can just simply put it in between here so it fits in nice and tight, just like this. And then the other end should extend over top. So if this was just a little bit longer, extend it over top, and then you can go and cut it at the right angle that you need, and that piece should fit nice and tight right in there, right into the corner, and then the same thing, put a little glue on it and put it in. And that's basically what you're going to want to do to get this all done. Now, once it's all done, both sides are done, there's going to be a process called lamination. Lamination is simply layers of wood glue. Like the table here is laminated. There's sections of boards put together, pressed together with glue, and then they sand it and smooth it out, and you've got a laminated board. So we want to laminate a little bit with glue. So we want this glue to soak into this porous balsa. So all you have to do to strengthen the balsa, because it's so light and brittle right now, you can put a little glue on the top, and you're just going to smear it all the way around. And if you can, get it on the side without getting the glue on the paper. That will be helpful. And once we're done, just let it dry, and then we're going to put something else on it called gussets. And gussets are simply going to be little squares of cardboard. We're going to glue them right over top of the joints. We'll show you that in another step. And once that's all dry, you can take off the balsa from the back of the paper, and you've got side 1 and side 2.